What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Cave News, the one-stop shop for all the video game news that you need to know. I am one of your hosts, Zach, joined along with when you enter your dreamland and you're whisked away to the fantasy land where magic is all around you. There, you will find the majestic, rainbow-haired unicorn, Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart.
That one takes number one spot. That one takes the number one spot. Exposition included. That is by far. Say that one more again. Honey, what?
Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart.
Dazzleheart. Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart. All right. That one is the new number one.
That name suggestion came from Amy. And guys, if you want to submit a name for Derek for the show, you can do so. The link is down in the comments or down in the description below. So, Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people become part of the ship, part of the crew, for just not just part of the ship, part of the crew, but also the exclusive crew, the inner circle? Where can they go?
They can go to patreon.com/nerdcave.
Yes, just like our wonderful crew members, Brandon Hicks, Richard Newell, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Water Yoga, the conductor, Marilyn James, Martin Sanger, and Brittany, the Granny Bee Harrison. Now, Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart. You can find the Nerd Cave News in a variety of platforms. I don't know if you knew this.
Yes, you can.
I don't know if you knew this, but
I knew a few.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you where you can find us. Honey, Dust, Dazzleheart.
Okay.
You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. You can watch us live each and every week for our pre and post show shenanigans, or you can go over to YouTube and watch the show, the replay. It's all clean. It's all cut up. It's just like it's just there. It's a full course meal. You don't get the appetite.
Yeah, exactly. And you can watch it how you want to.
Yeah.
You know, like if you can't make the live stream, or if you only have a limited time but you miss the rest of it, you can go watch it on YouTube and catch up where you left off.
Yeah. You know, it's just a full meal right there. You don't get the appetizer, you don't get the dessert, but it's there. It's a full meal.
Yeah.
If you just need a little snack, a little snack, a little something, a little sustenance to get you through the day, you can go get bite-sized nuggets of news. Check us out over on TikTok, Nerd Cave Network on all the platforms. That's how you can find us, guys. Real quick shout out. We've got an awesome thing going on right now between June and July. It is our game club. We are playing Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete edition. Come be a part of it. Join our Discord. Join the conversation. We got people just slaying the robot dinosaurs left and right. Just cha-cha-cha. Maybe they hate robots. Maybe they just hate robots. Do we ever think about that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's they hate robots or maybe the robots started it and hated them first. Who knows? I don't know.
It's something we need.
It's one of those chicken and the egg things. What came first?
Yeah. So, guys, you can join in on all the fun. Our game club, Horizon Zero Dawn, complete edition between June and July. Come and be a part of the conversation. Come be a part of the fun. It is awesome. Come be a part of it. But, guys, we're here for one thing and one thing only, and that is video game news. And we got a lot of it, guys. So pull up a chair.
Oh, I thought they were here for my crop top polos with the belly button tassel.
That's the post show, Derek. That's the post show.
Oh, okay. That's Nerd Cave After Dark.
Guys, pull up a chair. Sit in here with the stained glass windows around you, and get ready, guys. Summer Games Fest is going on. E3 is fixing to happen. We got people just putting stuff all out there. Let's get into the gaming discussion this week. Battlefield 2042 reveals Newz. Release October 22nd for PlayStation 5, PS4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. It will not have a campaign, but will have seasons and already has a year one roadmap. Will support up to 128 players on PS5 and Series X and S.
Insane.
And PC, but only 64 players on PS4 and Xbox One. We'll have specialists in game-changing destruction. Specialists. It's got specials. They're specials, guys. And And there's an open beta planned for later. So a little kind of backdrop for the not the story, because there's a story, but there's not a story. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There ain't no campaign.
It's golden lore.
Yeah, there we go. It's at least it's not in the. It's like not like Destiny, where it's like, oh, go read it online.
Oh my gosh, Destiny 1.
The backdrop is the U.S. and Russia on the brink of war, and will feature 7 maps from Seoul cities to the to the deserts of Egypt. Guys, it's a lot to read. It's a lot to read. Y'all come and do the job. The game will let you weaponize tornadoes and other dynamic weather effects, and will give you the option of playing against AIs on all the maps. It will also give you the next-gen upgrades if you buy the $100 gold edition, while buying the standard edition will cost $10 for the next-gen upgrade. That seems like a ripoff. That seems like a ripoff.
Well, it's what COD did. If you bought the higher up edition, they gave you the next gen, but if you bought just the standard, because next gen is 70, the last gen is 60. Yeah. You had to. They the ones like, we want to make some kind of money. Give us $10 at least, and you'll be fine.
I'm saying like, oh, you give me $100, I give it to you for free. But you can just you can pay $70 and get it. But anyway, I continue.
Right.
I continue because we got a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
This game, Battlefield 2042, will have a free and premium battle pass, and will have official gameplay reveal on June 13th, which is next week, guys. So, all that being said, some exciting stuff. Derek, what is your take on all of this?
Some interesting, because you remember, because I was like, why does this name sound familiar? They did a game way back in the day called Battlefield 1942. Yep. So this is like, I don't know if it's a spiritual successor or a sequel to it. First thing that sticks out is no campaign. And granted, there's been a lot of people, I know, what was it, Paris Lilly from Kinda Funny, he tweeted out, like, oh, Battlefield campaigns haven't been that impactful, and like the fact it doesn't really, it doesn't really matter, and he got backlash for that. Like, there are some people, of course, you'll have an audience for anything that, if they like the campaign or just like the, just the simplistic of it and don't care for the multiplayer matches, having that other option is nice, but the 128 players on next-gen consoles is insane. Mm-hmm. Like, that, granted, they've always done the 64 since Battlefield 4, I want to say. So they've always kept that a staple on last gen, but 128, doubling that is ridiculous. Like, and it's not even a battle royale. Well, I don't know if that includes a battle royale or not, but goodness gracious, could you imagine that player count, like trying to dictate all that on a map?
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Not to mention the rendering.
Yeah.
But, what?
I was just like the rendering. I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah. So to kind of touch on, like, won't have a campaign, but it will have seasons and already a year one roadmap. The lack of a campaign seemingly puts all the focus on multiplayer with the new release, which will support up to 128 players, have specialists, and new destruction features. Seasons for the game will have a battle pass and have both a free and paid track. These seasons will last for 3 months, and all gameplay content will be available for everyone who plays the game, whether you buy a battle pass or not. Battle pass content will only contain cosmetics. Each season will add a new chapter to the multiplayer mode's evolving story and introduce a new specialist for players to play as. Each year of the game's life will also bring new locations, but that wasn't revealed in detail right now. The first year will also have 4 separate seasons. And of course, more info to come. To go on the weaponized tornadoes and other, which when I read this, it was like, all right, so you're doing Just Cause 4, because that was a staple of Just Cause 4. It's like, hey, you have all these different biomes, all these different weather effects. You're having this enemy base that's like, has satellites that purposely redirect tornadoes away from it. Take them out and have the tornado destroy the base. It's like, this is like very Just Cause-esque. Where was it? Like previous installments, you'll be traveling all around the world, storming ravaged beaches, infiltrating towering metropolises, and defending rocket launch sites, and experiencing so much more. While you're crawling through dirt-filled trenches or pinned down in some multi-floor commercial building, the play state of your match might change in the blink of an eye when shifts in weather start to suddenly arise. Dangerous twisters are bound to materialize when you least expect it, tossing debris and even manned vehicles haphazardly. One DICE developer called a moment where a Humvee was fatally flung at a highly skilled sniper that had been pinning him and his squad down. While confirmed kills like the aforementioned one just happened to be an interesting and extremely lucky byproduct of Battlefield 2042's dynamic weather, you can also use the tornado to close the distance between you and an enemy or some arbitrary mission objective. For instance, wingsuit gliding allows you to fling yourself into the air, and with the combined power of a devastating vortex, you might be able to get a high vantage point or arrive at a location before enemy reinforcements do. I imagine that you'll also be able to stay seated in your favorite vehicles despite being caught in the tornado's grip. Just be sure to evacuate or eject before you're helplessly tossed at some bone-crushing structure. And of course, they introduced like the deserts of Egypt, so of course there's going to be sandstorms. They didn't go into too much detail. I'm sure at the gameplay reveal they'll go into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, and touching on the playing against the AI, because of course, for the people who are upset that there's no story, DICE confirmed the news to Game Informer, who revealed that they didn't shift things up for the latest installment with the intention of alienating players. So while the focus is very much on multiplayer, the AI option is there for those who prefer a traditional single-player effort, even if it isn't the same as a proper campaign. So what is your take? Like, before I get, because I got one more thing on the different types of battle passes, but what's your take on the no campaign and like some of like the features in it? Because some are great, like of course the increase thing, the weather effects, but I feel like the no campaign, because we saw how people backlashed over Black Ops 4 not having a campaign, and I'm of course I'm indifferent, but I really think it's lazy storytelling when the story you tell is told through lore and all that. Like, it's cool for those invested in this game or the franchise or what have you, but I feel like it's just an easy cop out.
Yeah, like for me, I know like when Call of Duty went away from like a story on Call of Duty Black Ops 4, like that game did not sell
Yep.
that well. People were not as
Mm-hmm.
invested in it. I know not everybody plays the campaign, but
Right.
Battlefield 1 was such a good game because it had a great campaign tied to it. It really
Right.
brought you into the world that you were inhabiting through the multiplayer and everything. And it made me want
Yeah.
to enjoy the game more. It made me actually play the multiplayer more because I really enjoyed the single player. And same
Yeah.
thing with Modern Warfare 2, the whichever one, just Modern Warfare, the one that came out before Black Ops Cold
Yeah.
War. Like, same thing. I really enjoyed the story. That's why I played more
Mm-hmm.
of the multiplayer. But without, a single
Mm-hmm.
player, I didn't really enjoy it. The AI and everything makes me it reminds me of Titanfall back in the day, where you had AI in the multiplayer matches and everything, just to
Yeah.
be able to have something that you could easily kill and just make you feel like it was kind of that adrenaline rush, those dopamines. Oh, I actually got somebody. It's a little bit easier
Right.
of a fight compared to like someone else that would be more difficult and everything.
Right.
But overall, like I think they're trying to do something that is different. Like, they're not doing the battle royale side because they tried it with the last one. It didn't take off.
Yeah.
They're trying
No.
they're trying to go big but not do battle royale, which that's fine, and they're not going toe to toe with Modern Warfare or Call of Duty, whatever,
Yeah.
Warzone. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to do that. Do your own thing. And I think
Yep.
they're trying to do that. I just wish they would had a story with it,
Yeah.
because the US, Russia is like on the brink of war, and it's 20 years
Yeah.
ahead of us and everything. That would be interesting to see, a great story that could
Yeah.
come out of it, but we're not going to get that now. So that's kind of sad.
No.
Real quick before we cut to you, I want to catch up with chat real quick. Marek says, I'm kind of, no, I missed that one. He said, I held the highest rank in the world for Battlefield 2142 for a month. That's pretty dope.
Wow.
That's pretty dope. What
Yeah.
were your Twitch skills back, your Twitchy skills better back then? I know you talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
He also said, I'm kind of excited for the new remake. I had enough of World War II shooters. Yeah, I agree. And the past Battlefield games didn't draw me. I'm into single player campaigns, and without a campaign, I agree it's a cheap move. Typical EA money. And yes, I was way younger. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like World War II shooters, for the most part, have gotten a little stagnant. There's a new game that I want to try out. It's called Enlisted. I don't know if you've heard about it.
I've heard a little bit of it.
It looks really cool. It looks very intriguing. It doesn't have like a a story or anything. It looks kind of Battlefield-esque, but it like you have a squad, and like when you die, you go to like the different specialists in your squad. So someone has to kill literally every member in your squad before you're completely dead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like Rainbow Six, but instead of like, it's more of like kill confirmed Rainbow Six.
Yeah, in a way. Like you get like, I think it's like 4 or 5 people in a squad, but they're all like AI, and
okay.
You're controlling one person, and then when you die, you jump to the next person if they haven't been killed or whatever, and then like they have to kill that whole squad before that player is completely out. So it's a little bit different and everything, but I'm curious to check it out. It looks really cool. So, but
and to Murdoch, to say you were going to say you had enough of World War II shooters. Hate to tell you, we'll get into it a little bit later in the show, but looks like the new Call of Duty is going to be going back to World War II.
Yep.
But we'll get into that a little later. So, but the final thing I want to touch on is the free and premium battle pass that they're going to do. So, first things first with the free one. Let's douse the worries a bit. There is no content locked from the free battle pass option. What we mean by that is that there is no meaningful content that is tucked away behind a paywall. That means all players get the same maps, the same specialists, the same weapons, the same everything. So then what's the point of getting the premium, you might ask? The premium battle pass offers cosmetic options for players to unlock as they progress through the 4 seasons. 4 confirmed for this time. Much like games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, and many others, there are a variety of loot players can unlock. From specialist outfits to weapon reskins, this option is solely there for those that spend some serious time in-game and like to feel pretty. So, of course, they're going to have the typical battle pass, but I'm glad that because when I saw free, I'm just like, all right, you have to get an incentive to buy the premium. Are they going to do some, junk that's going to require you to buy the premium that's going to be blocked behind it? And it's like, okay, just for, the important stuff is not, but if you want more cosmetics, more skins, more like pretty much like character options, you need to buy premium.
Yeah. And, like with Call of Duty and everything, like, a lot of it is cosmetics, but like you will get like certain blueprints for guns that are like more powerful in the paid version and everything, or different operators that are locked in there. So like a battle pass at this point is nothing new. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but they definitely have to put it out there that, hey, nothing is getting locked behind a paywall, because EA does not want to deal with a Battlefront 2 situation again. So that's why
you beat me to it.
That's why they're very, very like, hey, nothing's you can all earn it.
Let's just throwing it out there, guys. Just so you know, it's for your information. And I was literally about to address that. It's like, it's coming from EA, so they have to be front and center about this from the get-go, because they remember 4 years ago and the backlash that ensued. So it's like, let's learn from this.
Yeah. They're being smart about it and everything. Jump into the chat real quick. Brandon says, I'm excited for the new Battlefield, and battle passes are expected now, to be honest. And I agree. Like it's it's kind of hand in hand with any kind of live service or, shooter game at this point. Like, you're going to get some sort of battle pass. So, as long as like you can earn all the stuff by playing. That's all that matters. And like we said, EA's being
Yep.
real careful about, hey, nothing's behind a paywall. There's no pay to play, that sort of deal. Like you're not going to get any benefits off of buying a battle pass. So let us know, guys, if you're excited for the new Battlefront. I'm curious to see more of the gameplay side of things, what we're getting to see on June 13th. So keep your eyes peeled, everyone. Keep them peeled. Get like a banana. You know what's not like a banana? Xbox.
Future? Okay.
Xbox says it's working on new hardware and insists consoles are its flagship experience. However, Xbox experience to be built into TVs and streaming sticks as part of a major off-console push.
So this very seems like a hand over fist type of thing where it's like, hey, we're still worrying about consoles, guys. Don't worry, we're not leaving that player base behind, but we're also going to expand into other territory as well, right? What is it? Because it was like because they're doing like some pre-E3 stuff. Obviously, they're getting out here and talk about this, and it's crazy that they're already talking about the next hardware. But then again, from remembering when they did the Xbox One X reveal, not the Series X, the One X, that they had pretty much started working on this, like, what is it, a year or two into the original Xbox One's life cycle? So they're already having, so it's not, the fact that they're already worrying about the new hardware when they can't even make units to get the current hardware they have out is a little concerning. At the same time, they want to already get ideas because the industry nowadays, especially the industry changes on a dime.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
They have to be ready to to go with the flow. In a video shown for press, CVP of Gaming Experiences and Platforms, Liz Hamren, explained that despite the company's growing interest in cloud streaming for gaming, quote, we're already hard at work on new hardware and platforms, some of which won't come to light for years. And then addressing the TV and streaming sticks part, in a pre-E3 briefing, head of Xbox Phil Spencer announced a number of improvements and extensions to the Xbox ecosystem, including its Game Pass subscription service, all-access payment service, and game streaming capabilities. The main takeaway is that, as it's hinted before, Microsoft is beginning to think of how to reach platforms other than Xbox consoles and PCs. The headline additions are: Xbox is working with TV manufacturers to build Xbox experiences directly into internet-enabled TVs with only an extra controller required to play. This would presumably use game streaming services rather than seeing games stored on TV hard drives. Xbox will also build streaming devices for cloud gaming, which will allow players to play Xbox games on TVs or monitors without the need for a console. Phil Spencer previously hinted that streaming sticks could be bundled with a Game Pass subscription, but that wasn't mentioned in the new announcement. Later this year, cloud gaming will be added to Xbox consoles and the Xbox app on PC, meaning you can play games before you buy and download them. This could also mean that you could begin playing games while they download. Microsoft data centers are being upgraded with Xbox Series X hardware, meaning cloud gaming players could see better load times and frame rates depending on internet connection. Xbox Cloud Gaming in a browser will soon open to all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members, supporting Chrome, Safari, and Edge. The company added that it's also working on new subscription offerings for Game Pass, working to expand Xbox All Access, which offers a console and Game Pass for a monthly fee rather than an upfront cost, and will add cloud gaming for Game Pass Ultimate members in Australia, Brazil, Mexico, and Japan this year.
It's bad when you have to include Edge into the browser.
I was like, when I was reading this, I'm like, Edge, like, who still uses that? Let's be honest.
I know we've seen Xbox go through kind of like a renaissance, and I think like this is almost double speak in the way where it's like, hey, Xbox, the console's still like the most important thing, but it's like you can play Xbox anywhere, like it's kind of like talking out the side of your neck here.
Right.
But if Xbox is wanting people to continue to play, continue to all of that, They got to start putting out games.
Mhm.
And I know we've talked about this. Like they've got so many developers and all of that, but like there has to start being something to play because we've had a drought of Xbox games for a while now.
Yeah.
And it just seems
I mean, other than Master Chief Collection, has there been like I know there's been some indie games, but I mean, what's the last big Xbox release? Or has there been one this year? That one I can't recall.
no, not that I can think of. You know,
We'll find out at E3, I guess,
yeah.
but we'll see.
You know, and like yes, the buying of Bethesda and all of that is great, but like we need games now and we need consoles. So you know,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see like they're bringing stuff so more people can play, and there's different ways of going about that because not everybody can buy a $500 console, you know, but they can pay a subscription and they've got, you know, a browser that they can do that, you know. I'm even like this is an ingenious way to get more countries like using an Xbox service. Because like I think of, you know, like the Middle Eastern countries and all of that, like they're doing PCs or PS2s, you know what I mean? Like so like this could be a way for them to hop on something that's new and play newer games because it's just based off of, you know, their browser or whatever. Like it's not based off the hardware they're using. And Murdoch says Latin America is still on PS3. So
yeah, I was gonna say I forget. Was it Latin America or whatnot? But there was some European country like years back where it was like FIFA 14 or 15 was like the last one that they were making for PS2. Just take that in for a second. PS2. But no. And you know, we're kind of already seeing it, right? Like when they launched the Series X and S, you know, they already had Game Pass on PC. They just did cloud, I think the year before or last year or something like that. And they're already kind of being like, "Hey, play on anywhere. You know, our consoles are great. We have the hardware for it, but you know, if you can't find a console, don't really care for the next Xbox, you already have a powerful gaming PC, we got you set up, man." But it is talking out both sides of their mouth, though. You know, it's like, hey, we don't want to leave the console market behind because there's still money in that. However, we're also future proofing ourselves, and you see, because Phil Spencer's talked about this repeatedly, where he wants to just be Xbox to be more of like the Game Pass brand. You know, they want to evolve past just hardware. They want to be known as like just Microsoft and like Game Pass and whatnot. So getting this on like TVs and streaming sticks to where you don't need a console, you just need a controller. It's kind of like also a slap in the face to Stadia. It's like, hey, we're going to do what you did better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, and
because
good.
I was going to say, because, you know, when they said, oh, just bundle it with TVs and all you need is a controller and you don't have to download the game, I'm like, huh. And look at Stadia as like, anything you can do, I can improve.
Yeah, like Stadia is just, at this point, it's dead in the water. It's dead in the water.
Yeah.
So let's move into our next bit. We got a lot, guys. We got a lot. We want to hear your thoughts down in the chat or in the comments down below. But let's move into Summer Game Fest. Today was the first day of Summer Games Fest, guys, and it's going to be going on for a while. But some big things kind of hitting out at first here.
Yeah.
So we're going to run through these, and then we'll kind of pick up from there.
Yeah.
Elden Ring has been given a release date of January 21st, 2022, and will be on the PS5, PlayStation 4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and the PC. New gameplay was shown highlighting mounts such as Flying Horse. A flying horse, guys. They're real. Pegasus.
Not just any horse, a flying one.
A flying one. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and Borderlands, a Borderlands spinoff with a D&D twist to release early in 2022. Death Stranding's director's cut announced for the PlayStation 5 with a full reveal planned in the coming weeks. Jurassic World Evolution 2 announced coming to PlayStation 5, PS4, Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC later this year. Will take place after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And then, because all of us, like, we really enjoy Among Us. Among Us has is adding a hide and seek mode, new roles, new colors, new map, and much more. And I want to they put out a trailer for this, and I want to watch that real quick with everybody, so we can show y'all what's going on in Among Us here, guys. Let me get there we go. That should be it. All right, so this is Among Us. This is the roadmap trailer, everything that's coming to Among Us. So let's take a quick look at that. Make sure. Okay. Cool beans. Here we go. So this is the hide and seek one.
Yeah. And it still has the kill option, so it's like, can you still kill them, or is your object just to find the other players?
So there's a scientist and a sheriff?
Yeah.
Huh.
Visor cosmetics are great too.
Achievements.
5 players.
Map 5.
And a new map. Yeah, I'm about to say a new map is huge too. It's like already?
There was something. Hold on just a second. There's. What is this?
It looked like it looks like they may increase the player count.
Yeah, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's 15.
Okay. Derek can count faster than I. But it's like their heartbeat. So I guess it's like this is a monitor and you can see like when someone's deceased or not.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's the vital screen. I forgot about that. Like there's a monitor where you can go to check the vitals. That's sort of like also a way to let you know if you're a crewmate, to let you know if someone's died.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's very like, of course you have to be in like a big enough like party to be able to use it, but yeah, it's a thing. You also run the risk of getting killed because you're distracted, but
true. I'm excited about that, guys. Among Us is, it's great. It's great. One map has vitals. Okay, I think that's the newest map, but a new map, scientist, sheriff. I'm curious to see like what those roles can do, because we've had crewmate, we've had saboteur, but now like getting those 2 others, like I know a lot of people have like modded Among Us for different things, so getting to see like an actual thing that's coming out for more and more people, it's gonna be great. B says new colors. Brandon, it's not the new map. One of the original 3 has vital stations. See, I don't know that. I don't know any of that. I just go around.
Yeah, I think it's the moon base or whatever. It's like the one with the lava pits, I think is the one.
Oh, okay. Polis. That's what okay.
Yeah, Polis. Yeah.
Polis. Yeah. So new colors, new like visor stuff. Achievements. I think that's great because like, for people that enjoy achievements or trophies, like having that little, just token of, hey, you did this. Good job. Good job.
I'll say the little gold star next to your name.
But some more Games Fest news. Smite and Stranger Things collab announced for July 13th will include 11, a full battle pass, battle bass.
Battle.
Guys, we're going to make it through tonight. We're going to make it through. And an upside down arena map. That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Koch Media reveals new publishing label called Prime Matter with games such as Payday 3, a new Gungrave, and new Painkiller game to be under its umbrella. The Fast and Furious vehicles arrive in Rocket League June 17th. That game company's Sky Children of Light, coming to Switch June 29th, was originally released on mobile in 2019, focuses heavily on social mechanics and item collecting. Nier Automata's 2B skin arrives in Fall Guys June 18th. In Call of Duty, Zombies creator Jason Blundell teams with Treyarch veteran Dave Anthony to form new studio called Deviation Games and will be partnering with PlayStation on a new IP. Oh, You just love to see it.
Yeah.
That should have been on the PlayStation news right there. But that's awesome. Like getting someone that has created a mode that people absolutely love. Like people love zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's become one of the staples. That's why for a little bit there they just include it was just Treyarch that used to do the zombies. Then it's like, hey, everyone do zombies. Everyone loves this. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about that.
So I know. And the first thing that stands out to me from this news, right? Because we've heard about the Tiny Tina's, because they kind of teased this with what was it? One of the Borderlands 2 DLCs was like the tabletop game a while back. But it being like a full spinoff now is intriguing. Of course, a lot of the main voice cast is coming back. Coming out early next year is surprising too. Like we'll get into it later with like more like later on in the news, like or I'll bring it up as like a casual thing. But with all these delays, 2022 might be insane for game releases. Like it might just be exhausting, at this point. But Elden Ring getting a release date, because I texted you this earlier today. I was like, I thought that game was going to be in limbo for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And who knows? It might get delayed, like Dead Island 2. Who knows? It might still get delayed. But the fact that they gave a release date and it's coming January of next year is surprising to me. Like, and I texted you this, like, it's funny. George R.R. Martin can finish this, but he can't finish Winds of Winter.
It might be as half-baked as season 8 of Game of Thrones. Who knows?
Oh, please no! Don't bring that up. People would riot in the streets because this is coming from Software, and a lot of people love Dark Souls. So if George Martin ruins this,
he's not like. Of course, he didn't ruin season 8. They just went ahead before he finished it. But it could have been 30 years
true too.
Before we got that fix and everything. But
yeah, that was a good point.
I'm curious to see if they stick with that date. I'm really curious to see if they stick with that date.
Because that's the first one of the year.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know. Like, that's if it comes out and it's great, it's already going to set some lofty expectations for the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Sekiro, another Dark Souls clone from Software, won Game of the Year in 2019.
Yep.
So Elden Ring already has some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, and having George R.R. Martin as like the writer and everything like puts it on another level. Like people are expecting Game of Thrones level storytelling. So from people that make great games to someone that is really good at writing, it's going to be very, very interesting. Murdoch says, "I'm ready for Rainbow Six Zombies." Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
That's what everyone's predicting. Rainbow Six Extraction, the new what Quarantine, formerly known as Quarantine. We'll get into it in a little bit, but that's what they're expecting from this.
Okay. Well, that was Summer's Games Fest, guys. E3. This is a Newsapalooza, guys. Newsapalooza 2021. Future game shows will be on June 13th at 6 p.m. and hosted by Troy Baker, I'm assuming. I just got Troy Bake here. I just got Troy Bake. Maybe he's like a chef.
Troy Bake.
He's a chef.
Troy Bakes.
The show will be hosted by Troy Baker and Laura Bailey from The Last of Us 2 and will feature 40 titles from publishers such as Sega, Private Division, Team 17, and Xseed Games. Expect trailers, gameplay, deep dives, and more. Yeah.
So good on them. Like 40 games is going to be a lot.
Yeah.
And Sega is we're expecting some things from them. And apparently the show's not going to be that long from what I recall. It's probably, I think maybe an hour tops, maybe an hour and a half. So they got a lot to get into. Maybe they'll do like some pre and post show stuff, or maybe it'll just be a lot of how Sony does their indie montage, just pretty much like a little highlight reel.
Yeah.
So
that sizzle.
Yeah. So, but it being hosted by well-known voice actors from The Last of Us 2 is going to be Troy Baker is such a treat to begin with.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see him how he does as a host.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Moving on, Koch Media, Deep Silver tempers expectations, saying Dead Island 2, Saints Row 5 Metro and Time Splitters won't be showcased at their E3 presentation this year. Boo.
So then what will they show? Like, I know they kind of, yeah, right. Like, this is their heavy hitters. And granted, yes, they're still Payday 3, I guess, because from their Games Trust announcement today, maybe that's what we can expect. Yep. Maybe a teaser for Payday 3. But it's like, when you look at this, Dead Island 2 not being there, they should just kill the game at this point. Like, just put it to rest.
Take it out back and just like, you're a good one. It's like, it's like, shh.
You can rest now.
And then like it goes black, and then you hear the like.
But this is all their heavy hitters. Like, you can make an argument, that Time Splitters may not, like, it coming back is huge. It may not be as big as it once was in the retrospect of the fandom now, but Dead Island 2, Saints Row, Metro. Now, Metro I can kind of forgive because they just put out a sequel not too long ago. So, right, exactly. So I'm not too upset by that. But Saints Row has been, they've remastered 3. They're going to they remastered 3 on PS4 and Xbox One. They just put it out on PS5 and Series X. So it's like, do something new, guys. Like, for real. But I'm glad, because there's going to be a lot of stuff missing E3 as we get into it later in the show. But I'm glad that they're throwing this out there so people don't get upset. Now, granted, expectations are always fan generated anyway. When people it's like Nintendo Directs. It's like people are always mad because they're one thing they were hoping for that Nintendo said nothing about. And they're mad, and they're going to take it out on Nintendo and threaten families. And it's like, look, you set that precedent. They didn't.
No one at Nintendo ever said that, Metroid 4 is going to be at E3 2021. Right. No one ever said that.
So, no. But
Murdoch says, I need a remake of Time Splitters. I don't know what they're doing with the new Time Splitters, if it's going to be a remake or not. And he also said Dead Island 1 was a little too much for me. I didn't get into Dead Island. I know my roommate Brandon was Time Killers. What is Time Killers?
I don't know.
He's now yelling at me. Whatever. I will ignore it now. Not right now. We'll look it up later. I thought you were like Time Splitters. I'm like, of course he did. He's misspelled it. Anyway, but I know like Dead Island 1, Brandon Plimal was like huge about that game.
Oh yeah,
and it was just like I don't really, like Left 4 Dead. I remember Travis was big on Left 4 Dead and everything. We played it a lot, but yeah, I never really got into Dead Island. It tweren't for me's. It tweren't for me's.
Yeah,
what's also usually not for me? Square Enix games. Usually not for me.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I'm on it today, guys. The showcase,
I guess,
is set for June 13th at 2:15 p.m. Central Time. Will feature Babylon's Fall, Life is Strange, True Colors. Derek, you missed your cue. That was your cue to sing. True Colors. I'll try it again.
True. Oh,
I forgot. Life is Strange, True Colors.
True Colors.
There you go. And more. Rumored, Guardians of the Galaxy game developed by Eidos Montreal will not be a live service game like Marvel's Avengers. Now, I'm excited for Life is Strange. I saw a hint that there are going to be 4 main characters from a high school in this one.
Ooh.
So
interesting.
Like, I think that will kind of shake it up a little bit more, because we've gotten, the first game we had 2, second game we had 2. So like having 4,
and you've seen it,
will be interesting.
Yeah, and you've seen it with like these choice-based games, right? Like Until Dawn had 8 playable characters that you had to make choices for.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to hawk something up. It was.
Yeah, you're
good. A little
good.
tickle in my throat, guys. A little tickle in my throat. And I'm glad to see that the Guardians of the Galaxy game will not be a live service game. Like Avengers is.
I think they learned.
Yeah.
I think they learned their lesson.
Yeah. Avengers is struggling enough that like putting something else out there is not going to help it. Like just let it.
it's struggling because they also couldn't commit to the roadmap from the get go. Like
Yeah.
they probably also don't want to put the roadmap. They also don't want to probably plan out a roadmap and then come and then like 2 months later it's like we need to change this and say nothing.
Yeah. You know, like the people that paid $60, they don't need to know what's going on with this game.
Nah,
That should, you know, last.
we've already got their money. We don't need to make anything else.
You know, who's turned a new leaf though? Who's went from crap to cap? Capcom is having an E3 showcase on June 14th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time and will feature Resident Evil Village, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Stories 2, Wing of Ruin.
Yeah. So you got to imagine, because Village was, when I saw this, I was like, Village just came out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, they may have some DLC, or there's the multiplayer, the RE Reverse,
Yeah.
that had to get delayed from it because it was supposed to be a pack-in bundle with Village, and then they had to delay it. So they probably, you know, are like, here, we're going to show off what that looks like, probably some DLC to it.
Yeah.
And of course, Monster Hunter Rise, you know, getting DLC, probably its first expansion, because
Yeah.
I know. Well, though that then again, they might tease the expansion for later this year, because if I remember correctly, World between that and Iceborne was about a year,
Yeah.
right? Or was it? Or did Iceborne come out later that year?
I want to say it was like 6 months plus when the DLC came out for World.
No, it was the PC release came out later in the year it came out, and then the following year was Iceborne.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe they can churn out the expansions faster now that they know what they're doing. But I don't know. Like, I could see more monster updates, and of course, Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming out in July, so I can see them being like, "Hey, you loved Rise? We got more Monster Hunter for you coming down the road."
Yeah, I'm curious about the Ace Attorney Chronicles. Like, is it coming to more than just Nintendo? Like, are we going to see it on other platforms?
I think it was also coming to PlayStation.
Okay. See,
if I remember correctly.
I never played them, but I thought it was cool. I thought they were cool games. You know,
right?
You got the guy who's always like, sorry, I'm not far enough back, but he's like pointing. He's like, judge. There we go. Objection. Clearly, like that looked exactly like the game, guys. They based it off of me.
Right.
Nailed it, guys. Nailed it 100%. So, you know, we'll see. I'm curious, like Resident Evil Village, like what can they do? Like you were talking about like the multiplayer, but it's like if it's not multiplayer, then it has to be some sort of like story DLC that we can get for it.
And they did a little bit of this with Biohazard, but you know, it wasn't. I think it was like more like bite-sized experiences. It wasn't meaty enough. Like it gave people a little bit, you know, but it was more than a snack, but not a full meal. You know what I mean? It was like an appetizer.
Yeah. This list is like literally like just like, yeah, you're not going to see this. There's a lot of that.
I know.
There's a lot of that.
I'll say but you know, you talked about how Capcom's been nailing it. You know who hasn't been nailing it? WB Games.
Yeah, WB. Murdoch says, I haven't played RE since the second one. I will try the new one. I suggest trying 7 before you play 8. Just saying, if you want that kind of like old school feel. But I know Derek just set me up really well for a transition, and then I knocked it down. I said, not in my house. I am the one that transitions. I am the one that makes the transitions in this show.
What's that famous song? I'm the one who knocks?
Yes, I'm the one who knocks. But you know who's not knocking? Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights, or Suicide Squad will not be shown at E3 this year, but they will showcase Back for Blood on June 13th at 4 p.m. Central, and will show PvP gameplay. And Call of Duty Vanguard skipping E3 with details coming later this summer, including Warzone changes, Warzone map reportedly switching to a World War II map later this year, and Gearbox will be showcasing at E3 on June 12th at 4 p.m. Central Time. Will feature Godfall, Tribes of Midgard, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and rumored Marvel Tactics game.
Yeah, so you know, Call of Duty, Activision has skipped E3 for many a year.
Yep.
But, Call of Duty has always shown up in some capacity. I guess, since they're pretty much marketing partners with
Yep.
PlayStation, they figured if PlayStation's not going to be there, why should we?
Yeah.
And Call of Duty always does around this time for their reveal event anyway. It's usually a little bit earlier before E3 just to get it out there. But Warzone going to World War II map, it also confirms because Sledgehammer has been confirmed, if you don't already know, to be doing this year. And what did they do well? World War II. I know they did Advanced Warfare before that, but what put them on the map was World War II.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're gonna do more.
This is for you, Murdoch.
Yeah, exactly. But the Gearbox thing is intriguing, right? Of course, they're going to show up more at Tiny T's Wonderlands. It just got revealed officially today at Games Fest, but now they're going to do a more deep dive, I would imagine. The Marvel's Tactics game is intriguing because it's going to be a team up with 2K, Firaxis, the people who do XCOM. So the strategy in it is going to be done really well.
Okay.
I just want to see, I'm not big into the tactics, the turn-based stuff, but if you do a Marvel game done right, it'll at least have my eyes on the prize.
That's intriguing, man. I really enjoy XCOM. I do like the turn-based games and everything. XCOM kills it, man. It is so good.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious how they're going to bring in the Marvel universe and everything. But I know that it will be good. One real quick thing with Gearbox, and then I want to move up to Back for Blood real quick. They're featuring Godfall. Is anyone still playing Godfall?
Man, I'm telling you. And there was a rumor, because I know it's on PC as well. There was supposedly a rumor that they were going to port it to PS4 as well. And it's why?
Just try to get more people to play it. That's literally it.
More people to play it, more money. And that's pretty much it. But it's still why? Why would you?
Yeah.
But to echo your sentiment, yes, who still plays this game? Because I heard it was a failure at launch, and the game, I don't want to say looked bad, but it didn't look the best either for being a PS5 exclusive.
Yeah. To Back for Blood real quick, there was a little teaser trailer, some gameplay that was put out today. There will be a beta in August. If you pre-order, August 5th, I want to say, is when they're doing the beta and everything. So
I think so.
Keep your eyes looked on that. It's looking better and better. I'm really excited for the game. It definitely has that Left 4 Dead kind of feel to it. So, if you're a big fan of that, you'll be excited. You're gonna be excited.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm excited for, Derek, is that we have went beyond those heinous years of a certain host of the Ubisoft show, that we're not tortured every year.
Are you sure?
We're still tortured with Ubisoft Fords, but we're not tortured with that stuff anymore. The Ubisoft
they might bring they might bring her back just to spite us.
Ubisoft Forward has been set for June 12th at 2 p.m. Central Time. The pre-show is set for 1 p.m. Central and will feature future updates for Honor, Trackmania, The Crew 2, Brawlhalla, Watch Dogs Legions, and more. Which Watch Dogs Legions is doing a Legion of the Dead thing right now, isn't that?
Yep. We talked about it last week. They're doing a zombie event.
Yeah, so go check that out if you're a Watch Dogs, if you're still playing that game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Siege of Paris DLC synopsis has reportedly leaked as well, and Far Cry 6 includes third-person gameplay, in-game content to offer something different. Rainbow Six Extraction, formerly called Quarantine, will focus on the post-show at 3 p.m. Central. Rainbow Six Siege crossplay and cross-progression update to be shared at the event. Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake to be a no-show. I wonder why. But game looks to be on track for early 2022 because it looked like hot garbage, guys. Man.
I know.
Oh,
just think that game was supposed to come out in January.
Yeah. That would have been bad. I love Prince of Persia Sands of Time, but that would have been bad. Splinter Cell Cross X Division. Splinter Cell Cross Division PvP leaks but won't be at the showcase. The Division 2 and the Division Heartland will be no shows for the event. Okay, I'm going to say this up front, Derek, before you get into it. Okay?
Okay.
I am sick and tired. I'm going to go to the one here. I'm going to go into my one right here. I am sick and tired of Ubisoft playing with my heartstrings. You know what game that I love?
Yeah.
You know what game that I, like, every time a new one would come out, I would get? It's a little game called Splinter Cell. It wasn't Rabbids. It wasn't Rayman. It wasn't all this other junk. It was Splinter Cell. Guess the last time I got a Splinter Cell game? That really bad one that you made at the very end. That really bad one.
Yeah, back when the PS4 and Xbox One were coming out.
Yeah, Blacklist. Yeah, we got Blacklist. Where's my Splinter Cell? I don't,
and it should be blacklisted.
Yeah, I don't want crossovers with Wildlands. I don't want crossovers with Division. I want Sam Fisher going dwee and just taking people out. But I don't get that. I don't get that. I get Watch Dogs Legion stuff. I get For Honor.
I know.
Trackmania, Brawlhalla,
Rainbow Six. That's not even the stuff that he's in, and they don't make him Sam Fisher. He's just like character with Splinter Cell costume.
Yeah. Where's Jeremy Irons? No. Ironside. That guy. Sam Ironside. I don't remember. His last name's Ironside. Yeah. The guy that actually voices him. Bring him back too. Guys, I'm upset. Like, this hurts me deep in my soul. Like, I love Splinter Cell. And then they put him in a mobile game.
Ubisoft has openly
they put him in a mobile game.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
That looked utter trash.
I'm being harsh right now, but Ubisoft every year, I'm like, come on. This year, gonna be the year. We're gonna get a new Splinter Cell. And they're like, no, Zach, we hate you. We hate you. We hate you because you do a bad French impression. Guys, put fives in the chat if you would buy a Splinter Cell game. I better see a flood of fives in there because I'm putting fives in there myself right now. Okay, we're gonna. Man, look at those fives.
Start the wave.
Look at those fives coming in, guys. Whoa, man, so many people would buy.
Oh my god.
Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Back onto the news.
No, you're fine. It's very rare that you've had a soapbox moment lately. So you were due one.
It was like microtransactions all over again.
But this time it's something you actually care about.
Exactly.
But Eve's Game O has said, we want to do Splinter Cell right, and we're going to wait for it. So it's like we're not ready for that yet, but we're going to tease you and torture you for the coming years and just put it in other games and make you wish you had another Splinter Cell. But it is weird that this one, like the Splinter Cell Cross Division, it's weird that this would leak and then say, oh, it's not going to be here. Yeah. So then what? First of all, why did it leak? And then what? Close to E3, and then when are we going to see it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ubisoft looks to be continuing a tradition of putting Sam Fisher in anything other than a Splinter Cell game, as a new Splinter Cell Cross Division game has leaked ahead of Ubisoft Forward on Saturday. This new game reportedly started testing around January and is named The Division Battlecat, or at least that is its code name for the title. After the leak on Twitter over the weekend, VGC corroborated the claim and said that the images are authentic with the game targeting PC and consoles. The screenshots for Battlecat show the Cleaners and the Outcast gang from The Division, the Wolves from Ghost Recon Breakpoint. According to the images, the character classes each have their own unique abilities, such as Echelon's radar stealth and Wolves' additional armor with an ultimate ability on top. The two game modes leaked include Escort, which is where players have to escort a package to a delivery zone, with defenders stopping you, and Ringleader is a mode which has players fighting to collect ring from fallen opponents. You can see this, I'm about to say, blah, 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 you can see the image, but yeah. So the game sounds very intriguing, like the deliver of the package, very Overwatch-esque with move the payload. And then, the pick up the rings type thing seems like very like Bleeding Edge, where you have to collect the, I forget what the collectible is, and deposit them.
Sounds like Sonic.
It's intriguing, but at the same time, Right, right. So as long as it's not Sonic Forces, I think we'll be all right.
True.
Um,
You know,
but the go ahead.
I'm glad that Division is getting more stuff and everything. Like the support for that. Like
Yeah,
I want to jump into Division too. Like there's just so many games that it's hard to play, and it goes
yeah,
back to something that Murdoch said earlier. Like there's so many games that are going to be coming out that they're not going to find an audience because people do not have that much time to play all of these games.
yeah. Exactly, and you know, especially with them making live service, like extending the tail and making like Division as an open world game. Heartland is presumably going to be open world. I don't know. We're not going to find out. That's what kind of upset me the most. Is like I'm a advocate for the Division. Heartland, when they announced it's a free to play, I'm like, okay, cool, more Division. I'm all about that. And then like especially with the roadmap, because they're talking about like they're going to do more stuff with Division 2,
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, that's not going to be here. Well, then when am I going to find out, guys? Like, at least give me something. Like, even if it's just a CG trailer, just give me something. I don't care.
you're never going to find out.
Right. Um, but you know, a lot of disappointment. But again, at least they're getting out ahead. Is like, look, guys, I know we had there was a summer games fest last year. We were kind of just playing it off cuff, just by the ear, seeing what what we could do and couldn't do in the year of COVID. Now that we have an E3 again, we know people are going to be excited. You've been cooped up in your homes for the last year, so, at least for some parts of the world. But we're gonna let you know this stuff that you're expecting, that's you already know about or heard or seen or leaked, not going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing, but at least they're getting out in front of it beforehand.
Yeah, I'm glad that more of the companies are doing that. It sucks in ways, but
Yeah.
it's also like, hey, like don't get your hopes up. You're not going to see these, but these games
Right.
will be there. Or like they're not revealing all their cards, and I'm sure some of those are red herrings, but like it helps
Oh yeah.
get people like, okay, I'm not going to get to see Splinter Cell this year again, but at least I'm not going in like,
Right.
hey, we might get a Splinter Cell game. No, never. Eves
No.
Eves
Exactly.
hates Splinter Cell. You can tell. Like he's
I
like
know.
Jeff Kaplan hating on Mercy.
Yeah. Right. But to go touch on a few more things with the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because that's supposed to be the next big DLC. I know Wrath of the Druids is out now. Um, the next major expansion, titled Siege of Paris, has leaked with a detailed synopsis online, giving us an idea of what's in store in the Viking era adventure post-launch. The synopsis leaked via the games file, and was reported by a well-known leaker, revealing the Siege of Paris takes place a few years after the events of the main campaign for Valhalla. You can down below it says, quote, "To the south, the Kingdom of Francia has unified under a single king for the first time in 100 years. Charles the Fat, the great grandson of Charlemagne, now wages a slow war against the north in Francia. England could be next. Ravensthorpe must make new allies in Francia to avoid the threat of war. A visitor will arrive at Ravensthorpe dock to launch the adventure." I don't know if it doesn't say. Oh, and it goes on to say that the DLC is targeting November of this year for release.
Okay. Like I'm glad that they're putting more
Um,
out for this. I know Odyssey was kind of like the first, like I know Origins had like post launch support with some
yeah,
DLC and everything, but Odyssey is like where they were just like, yeah, here it
yeah.
is and everything. But I'm glad to see like that have more and more. And eventually I'll get to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I got Ghost, and now I got Horizon, and I just started Spider-Man.
Say, how many months ago was it that you were adamant, like, I'm going to finish one open world game before I start another one? And then we did Nerd Cave Game Club.
Yeah, I've got 3 going on right now. It's just like,
Yeah.
Amy's like, Charles DeFat. Charles DeFat. I don't know if I'd want to be known as like Charles DeFat. It's like, can we change the last name?
Right.
Charles
Right.
the Handsome, Charles the Jolly, like
Charles the Wise.
yeah, like anything but Charles the Fat.
The Fat.
Maybe it means something different, but the English would have made fun
Yeah.
of him a lot. Just saying.
Exactly. And then lastly, to touch on the Far Cry thing, is players will offer a third-person perspective at specific areas in the game, as well as teasing the game's in-game content. Um, One of the speaking with GameSpot, the game's narrative director explained the team found positive results with trying out a third-person option for cinematics. "Quote: In cinematics, is the third-person option is something the team tried early on, and it felt surprisingly seamless. It instantly felt like there was more of a connection to Danny's journey in the world, more of a connection to this epic story in Yara. The third person viewpoint will allow players to enjoy their character customizations in more detail, and you'll be able to swap viewpoints in guerrilla camps and various situations during combat. It also comes into play during the use of a Supremo backpack." Uh, Blah blah blah. And elsewhere, the lead designer revealed during an interview with Joe Raptor that players will find, quote, something new waiting for them after completing the game. More details on the Far Cry 6 in-game content will be revealed soon, presumably at the Ubisoft Forward event this weekend.
Okay. I know we got a lot of like Far Cry news last week, so
right. And with them not doing a map editor, maybe this is like them to appease fans who are not going to have that. It's like, look, because they're already doing story DLC and whatnot. So the end game, because I don't know of many Far Cry games that, if any, that have end game content. So this is going to be interesting for the series, and if it's something like. Obviously, it's not going to be zombies, obviously, but Days Gone, their end game event was fight more of these hordes or flesh out the rest of the hordes you didn't fight in the game. So if it's something akin to that, like, oh, here's extra bases that popped up since you liberated Yara that now have remnants of their, whatever the enemy forces are, go clear those out,
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see, more than just, exploring and killing alligators and possums or whatever.
Right.
Amy commented, she said, maybe he was cool like Fat Joe, the rapper Fat Joe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Not many people talk about it, but I would love to see another Def Jam game come out. Those were a ton of fun.
And that has come up from time to time. It hasn't been hot and heavy like, say, a Fight Night, or NCAA, but Def Jam has come up from time to time, and it is probably time we do one.
Yeah. I'm sure like a lot of whippersnappers wouldn't understand Def Jam, but that's okay.
No.
That's okay. It's okay.
They're not meant to. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. But you know what is for everyone now? Overwatch. Overwatch is for everyone. Yeah. Overwatch is going to be introducing the new game director came out this week and introduced a new thing that's coming to Overwatch. Crossplay is coming to Overwatch between the PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation. Did I say PlayStation? PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. All will be able to have crossplay in the near future. This is not including cross progression. That's something that they are working on in the future that they're hoping to be able to have later on. It's probably going to be a Overwatch 2 kind of thing. But crossplay is going to be happening. And if you're on PC, crossplay is always going to be enabled. If you're on a console, you can choose to do so or not. Competitive play, this is where it's only going to be if you're on a console, you will only play with console players. If you are on PC, you can only play with PC players. If you are doing crossplay with a PC, you will be put into lobbies with other PC players. So that's how it works and everything, because PCs definitely have an advantage over the others and all of that. So they want to make it as fair as possible. So I'm excited for some crossplay goodness. I'm stoked for that.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for that. And then the second thing, it came out today. They showed the Baptiste and Sombra redesigns for Overwatch 2. They're a little bit different and everything. Y'all go check it out. I'm not going to show it on here because we're running a little bit long and we still got PlayStation news, guys.
Yeah.
So go check those out.
Yeah.
I'm glad, they're slowly going through the roster that we've already had in Overwatch 1 and showing that. Baptiste, he looks a little bit thinner, a little bit more agile. Sombra looks a little bit more stealth like. She wore heels in the first one, and now she's like ninja kind of like foot gear.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I can't wait for it. Crossplay is going to be awesome because I know there's a lot of people that I played with on PlayStation, but now that I play on PC, I haven't been able to play with. So now I get to, play with them once crossplay comes out. They haven't put a date on it. But I was very, very excited when I saw crossplay coming to Overwatch. I was like, yeah, which means me and Derek can play once it comes out.
Finally.
Yeah.
So
I don't have to go back to like my PlayStation.
I know. But you did that was in one of my quick hits and you ruined it. But you know what? It's fine because I know you're an Overwatch advocate, so it's fine. I'll allow it.
Well, I didn't read the quick hits because there was so much in the discussion part this week. So usually I read all the way through it.
Yeah.
But I was going to talk about it, Derek. You can't silence me. And there's something else that you can't silence, guys. It's the PlayStation News Legacy segment. Shuhei Yoshida, full of grace. That's the theme song, guys.
It'll change every week.
It's newly minted, guys. Newly minted. Just like something's about to be newly minted. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart developed in a crunch-free environment, according to multiple employees. This game comes out tonight, guys. Comes out tonight. Derek.
Yeah, 11 p.m. Or if you can't, or if you buy physical, it'll be tomorrow whenever stores open.
Yeah.
Your local retailers. But I'm excited, and I put this in here because for a while. Especially Cyberpunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a thing going on from like last year that, crunch was running rampant in a lot of companies. But, this is a wholesome thing because it's like, look, crunch, granted, now, yes, there is an argument to be made that this game is not on a grand scale is not as big as some of these AAA games, open world games. I get that. I understand that. However, it shows that you can make a great game because the game's been reviewing well.
Oh yeah.
In a crunch-free environment. Now, and it shows that if a company puts its mind to it, it doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, and if the leadership actually does planning and time management, you don't have to crunch. Who'd have thunk it?
Right.
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it?
Oh, if you wanna hold that thought real quick, I gotta reboot my computer. Something just happened.
Okay. All right, Derek's gone away for a second, guys. But as Derek goes away, you don't have to, guys. You can hit that follow button right now and not miss out on any of the awesome content that we have here at the Nerd Cave. Or if you're over on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button. All those good things. We stream each and every week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Used to be 9 a.m. And then I was like, hey, I want to sleep in. But guys, let us know. What have you thought about the show so far? What are the exciting things that you've heard about that you want to see more at E3? Like I said, I would love to see some Splinter Cell, but that ship sailed a long time ago. I'm excited. I'm excited for like E3 has always been this like part of like gaming as a whole. It's just like excitement. I remember watching it on G4. It was just like this moment in time where it's like you sit down, you get a few days and you just watch reveals, you watch trailers, and like on the outside, like that's all of like what you're experiencing. But now like you can go like to the floor. I don't know about this year and everything, but when they opened it up for fans and everything, it was just so cool. One of these days, guys, old Zacharoo here is going to get to go to E3 and we're going to live it large. We're going to live it up. We're going to watch all the things. We're going to do all the things. We're going to get to meet Shuhei Yoshida. Full of grace, guys. Full of grace. If you don't know who Shuhei is, you're missing out, guys. You're missing out. One of these days, I'm in agreement, Murdoch. One of these days. When I retire, hey, I don't know how long you got before you retire, but hey, it's not long. We're just waiting on Derek to come back, guys. But just a few things I just kind of quickly go over, like we've kind of hit earlier. Rainbow Six Extraction will be shown at their showcase on June 12th. I think this is like supposed to be the zombie game and everything. So I'm curious to see how that all comes out. And then Quarantine. It's interesting that they changed it from Quarantine to Extraction because I think people didn't want to, didn't want to think about Quarantine anymore. So
Probably.
we got the man, the myth, the legend. What was the name? Dusty Shoulders. Honey Dust.
What?
Honey
Honey Dust.
Dazzleheart. There we go.
Oh my God.
Honey Dust
Yeah.
Dazzleheart.
Honey Dust Dazzleheart.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Now we got
I'm back.
we got Derek back into the sanctuary, the stained glass sanctuary that is the Nerd Cave. All right. We talked about Ratchet and Clank. I know you're going to crunch on it, man. You're going to be playing it.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to be sleeping.
Hours into that.
You know, sleep is not a thing anymore. You're like a teenage boy all over again that got a new game. You're not going to sleep, not going to go to work. You're not going to eat. You're not even going to say hello to your mama. And that you're going to make her cry. You're going to make her cry.
No, I can't do that. I'll die. She gonna come to that phone and then slap me and be like, boy, you better get right.
Who didn't get right? Who didn't get right? Resistance 4 didn't get right.
I know.
Resistance 4 has been turned down by Sony due to having too many post-apocalyptic games in the pipeline. We've talked about, will Resistance ever come back? And this kind of, kind of sums it up right there. Like we've got The Last of Us, and whatever multiplayer IP that Naughty Dog's working on. We've got like Days Gone was another post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
Even Horizon is post-apocalyptic if you really think about it and everything.
And it's interesting because of the timing of this too, right? Because apparently in the article I have here, now I don't know how he found out, but apparently Colin Moriarty over there at Last Stand claims that the format holder felt it had too many post-apocalyptic titles in the oven at the time. Apparently, the likes of Killzone Shadowfall, The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Days Gone were in pre-production and or active development at the time Resistance 4 was pitched. Quote, Resistance 4 was pitched to PlayStation, and they declined Resistance 4 because it sounded too similar to The Last of Us, and they didn't want two games overlapping with each other, so Resistance was shut down at that point. So this was like a while back.
Yeah.
So this is why we haven't had a new one in the pipeline. And I feel like they should try. I mean, and this is before Insomniac got bought by Sony, obviously. This is before like Insomniac kind of had their glow up moment with Spider-Man and, the new Ratchet and Clank game coming out tonight. So who knows? Maybe Insomniac down the road tries like, hey, you want to try that Resistance again? Because we've had Last of Us is not part 2, part 1, Days Gone, and Killzone Shadowfall and Horizon are like that was already, like I said, a lot of them were in pre-production or just starting up development. So I think it was just wrong place, wrong time. I'm curious to see if they want to try that again.
Yeah. And Killzone Shadowfall didn't really feel post-apocalyptic. I don't even see how that
like Killzone 2 did. Yeah, and, 3 kind of did, but Shadowfall was kind of like an after the fact type of thing.
Yeah, God, Shadowfall. Oh my God,
I know.
I'm not even going to get into that. So, hopefully, Resistance will be futile, and we'll see Resistance 4 come through. Hopefully, they'll tighten up those controls. My lord, they ain't tight. But some developers do a really good job at everything they do. Naughty Dog is looks to be working on a standalone multiplayer game. That's all I got.
Yeah. And of course, there's that supposed, they got the factions multiplayer for Last of Us Part 2. And this is one of it goes back to I think a month or so ago that we talked about. Naughty Dog has 5 games in development. One of them is a new IP. This could be that. I know Sony, we've talked about in previous months that Sony is looking for their first parties to get more into a multiplayer centric space / a live service space. So this could be up the alley as well. As spotted by the folks over at VGC, Several new job listings share a little insight into what the studio is working on, namely posts for a gameplay scriptwriter and level designer. The quote newest adventure states that the studio's first standalone multiplayer game. Naughty Dog has offered co-op adventures in the past, as mentioned with the first Last of Us game previously, but this looks to be something completely different. It looks like the gaming company isn't looking to abandon its narrative roots with this move either. Both listings show a desire to integrate powerful storytelling, the kind Naughty Dog is known for, into its in-progress multiplayer experience. This is abundantly clear with one listing that particular reads, we're seeking to bring the same level of ambition and quality of our signature story-driven games to this unique multiplayer project. This is a rare opportunity to make an impact in your discipline and craft an experience that will be enjoyed and shared by millions of players around the world.
Okay. You know.
So it seems I like it. Obviously it's not. I know Factions from Last of Us Part One was beloved by a lot of people. I know a lot of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer was enjoyed by certain groups, and I know people are hotly anticipating Factions for Last of Us Part 2. So it's great that they're taking the same care. It's not like they're just like, oh, we're only known for doing stories, but we'll crank out this multiplayer real quick. No, they want to give it the same love and attention that they do their single player stories. And I like that because that shows that they are committed to their craft and committed to games, not just single player games, not just post-apocalyptic games. They want to be known as a game company, not just what insert known game studio here.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot about them because a lot of companies fall into that. Oh, that's just the Killzone company. Oh, that's just the Spider-Man company, or like whatever game is like the most popular.
That's just God of War.
Oh, that's just the Halo company. Like that.
Well, Microsoft has kind of done that with their studio names, like the Coalition, 343 Industries. Like they've kind of also some of Xbox Studios has painted themselves in the corner doing that.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, like, I'm glad to see Naughty Dog not afraid to kind of branch out and everything. I'm just curious to see how it goes. Like I know. Last of Us 1, the multiplayer was actually pretty enjoyable. Like there was a lot, to do and everything. But you also look at Uncharted 4, like the multiplayer was there, it was fun, but there wasn't a lot to it.
Yeah.
So like they've had cracks at it, but it's just like it's got to be solid if you're going to just put a multiplayer game out.
Right.
So I'm just curious to see where that goes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, guys. Our second to last PlayStation news for the night. Gran Turismo 7 is coming to PlayStation 4. Was a decision reportedly made fairly recently.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I might just be a little crazy. I might just be a little crazy. Didn't I state this last week when we talked about how God of War Ragnarok and Gran Turismo were coming to PS4?
Yeah.
And what was my one concern? I was like, if Sony is making you do this, that is the wrong. That worries me greatly. Like, obviously, we'll talk about it here in a minute. But Horizon's thing was like, no, we've always had cross-gen in mind.
Yeah.
This was not a last-minute decision. Gran Turismo, though, I'm like, oh no, this is my fear.
Yep.
Granted, it's a racing game, and it's not like you have to move heaven and earth to make changes for it necessarily. It's just some of the features that might not transfer over as well.
Yeah.
But this is my concern. And again, we talked about it last week. I get it. 100 million PlayStations in the wild. You can't even find a PS5, unless you have like a Lucky Charm or whatever, So I get it. They don't want to lose out on money and player base. At the same time, if it's made for them, because I mean, again, could you imagine if they tried to like now come out and say like a month ago, Ratchet and Clank is also coming to PS4? That would worry me because they've gushed over the features of what the PS5 can do that it wouldn't be possible on PS4.
Yeah.
But let's see. The format holder revealed overnight that Polyphony Digital's next installment in the racing simulator franchise is not going to be exclusive to PS5, with the PS4 also getting its own version of the game. The game can also that same can also be said for God of War Ragnarok, another game believed to be PS5 only release. And here's the quote and I forgot they said this. but it kind of raises an eyebrow. The quote here says, Gran Turismo 7, after all, was outright advertised as a PS5 exclusive in December.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to be fair to Sony, I understand the decision to release a PS4 version was made only fairly recently. Like, granted, yes, marketing has definitely, there's been examples of it not sticking to its guns, like Watch Dogs 1. The graphics were great. Game came out, was not the same as they advertised. You know what I mean? But seeing this, it's like you advertised this was a PS5 exclusive 6 months ago, and now all of a sudden you're backtracking, and it's like, no, it's coming to PS4 as well. And I'm like, this is probably one of the reasons why they delayed it till next year anyway. But it's like, you made this decision just within the last 6 months. Polyphony can't flip a switch and just being like, it's on PS4, guys.
No, that's totally how it works. It's totally how it works.
Oh yeah, my fault. I know nothing.
You don't know anything about.
I'm Jon Snow.
Yeah, you know nothing. Yeah. I'm looking at you, Jim Ryan. I'm looking at you.
You're the cause of this.
Heavy is the brow that wears the crown. It ain't shoe, so it's you.
Yeah. Right. Hey, and you made it rhyme. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Horizon Forbidden West update. The game director says cross-gen development was not limiting in any way, and the PS4 and PS5 differences have been explained.
Yeah, so just to, Matthijs de Jong, excuse me, I'm probably butchered your name all to heck, but he explained that developing this new game for both PS4 and PS5 was, quote, not limiting in any way. As reported by GameSpot, De Jong was speaking to Hardware Zone when he was asked if there was any noticeable differences between PS4 and PS5 versions of Horizon Forbidden West, and if developing for both platforms simultaneously was holding the team back at all. Quote, I don't think the cross-generation development was limiting in any way. When we started with the concept of this game, we had so many great ideas that ended up being included, to the point that we didn't really think about hardware limitations or anything. We just wanted to design a really nice, unique experience for the player. An awesome adventure. That's how we also brainstormed all the quests and events the player is going to go through. I think that the big delta between these two consoles, apart from the 3D audio, quick loading, and DualSense, of course, is on the graphical side of things. On the PS5, we can add so much more detail graphically. We can see the tiny hairs on Aloy's face, for example. You can also see a ton of detail from far away. And then, of course, going into the differences too. Interview with Game Informer. Development on Horizon Forbidden West has used the PS4 console, and so it's designed with the hardware in mind. Quote, a lot of the development has taken place on the PlayStation 4, and a lot of playtesting has been done on PlayStation 4. So we are ensuring that owners of that console have a great experience, and the game will look fantastic on that console. For the PlayStation 5, we can go much further, of course. Visually, we can add a lot more detail. Graphically, the rendering technique for the underwater scenes is special for the PlayStation 5. It has extra details and extra systems, like the wave technique is better on that system. As well as improved water and environmental details, the PS5 version is able to make use of a cinematic-grade lighting system that the PS4 can only use in cutscenes. The lighting on Aloy on the PlayStation 5 has much more definition. We use a special cinematic lighting rig that on the PlayStation 4 is only used in cutscenes because the game is not running and we have more processing power in those scenes. But with the PlayStation 5, we have plenty of processing power, so we can have the lighting rig always available. So she always looks great with that lighting setup, traveling with her anywhere. Additionally, let me see. Also revealing PS5 supports up to 60 frames per second performance mode. It's unclear what sacrifices will be made to achieve that 60 frames per second, but based on Sony's other games, it is likely to be reduced resolution and the absence of hardware-intensive lighting effects. So it's when I read this, it was like they started on PS4 because they wanted, they've had their first game was on PS4. It's on the swan song pretty much. They want to push the most out of it and then forward that to the PS5 to make it better. A lot of companies start with the newest hardware and scale back. Mm-hmm. They did it the opposite way, which is, you can argue, is technically the right way. Yeah. It's like, look, start there and know your limitations, and then you can improve upon it on next gen. Um, so, and this is an example of, hey, they always had cross progression in mind. They didn't hamper it didn't hamper their vision at all.
Yeah.
So makes me even more excited for this game. I just hope it's this year.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited,
Yeah, we'll see.
that they had the right mentality working through this instead of like Gran Turismo 7 and God of War Ragnarok. Like, hey, we need you to put it on PlayStation 4.
Right.
And it's like,
Well,
okay, we'll make it work.
right. Well, to be fair, they haven't unless I misread the Gran Turismo article. They haven't said what Ragnarok's issue was, if it was like always planned or if it was a last minute decision. But Gran Turismo, it being a last minute decision, it's like, okay, like I said, racing games are easy to make graphically and spec wise. Granted, yes, it's going to be a lot of different with rendering, the 3D audio, the 60 frames, the ray tracing, all that. Of course, it's probably going to have the similar differences for Horizon. But the fact that they only made this decision in the last 6 months to put it on the last gen consoles is still concerning, because it's like, yes, we want the money at the same time at what cost?
Yeah.
It's like Endgame. It's like you achieved, or no, Infinity War. It's like you achieved what you wanted to. What did it cost you? Everything.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that it turns out good. I'm glad to see Horizon is doing it right. And hopefully the others will follow suit. So guys, that wraps up our gaming discussion. We're going to jump into the quick hits. Let's do it, Derek. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
I'm ready. So, first off, if for those of you who don't remember this, Sniper Elite is doing a VR game. I forget if it's on all VR platforms, but it's definitely coming to PSVR, and that is finally coming out on July 8th. Hangar 13, developers of Mafia, are reportedly developing a, quote, Cthulhu meets Saints Row sci-fi RPG.
Okay.
The ESRB has seemingly rated The Medium, which was originally an Xbox exclusive that came out earlier this year for PlayStation 5, hinting a release could be around the corner. Rumor, Psychonauts 2 could release as early as August. Upload VR showcase set for June 12th, which is pretty much like a VR-centric, show. No More Heroes 1 and 2 is out now on PC. Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 7 is out now and brings Rick from Rick and Morty and Superman skins into the game. Dying Light Hellraid Story DLC is out now. Google Stadia expands to Android TV operating system devices on June 23rd. Simpsons Arcade Machine coming from Arcade 1UP. And as Zach mentioned earlier, Overwatch crossplay support officially confirmed by Blizzard and is coming soon.
It's interesting that Dying Light is still getting DLC.
Right. Yeah. Especially on the heels of the Dying Light 2 release date and gameplay reveal.
Yeah, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense in my opinion. Yeah.
It doesn't, but at the same time, you could argue that, this is their labor of love, because they've been doing tons of DLC and it's kept this game going 6 years after the fact,
True.
So I guess they didn't want to, they wanted to give one more, hurrah for the game before they finally put it out to pasture.
Yeah. Google Stadia, it needs to be put out to pasture. Like it needs.
Speaking of things that need to be put out to pasture.
It needs it. It needs it. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There is the news that you need to know for this week. E3 is next week, so we're going to be coming at you hot and heavy for the next episode with all of the reveals and kind of our hot takes and everything on what went on during E3. So you don't want to miss it, guys. You don't want to miss it.
If you thought this was a lot of news, just wait till next week.
Yeah. It might have to be like Endgame and Infinity War, where it was going to be one movie, but it might have to be split in two, guys. It might have to be like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows,
maybe more
1 and 2. It might have to,
maybe it'll be like the Infinity Stones, maybe 6 parts.
Maybe, but you will have to stick around on the next exciting episode of Nerd Cave News, guys. Thank you again for all the awesome exclusive Patreon crew members: Brandon Hicks, Richard Newell, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Waters Yoga, the conductor, Marilyn James, Martin Sager, and Brittany, the Granny B. Harrison, Honey Dust Dazzle Heart, Daisley Dazzle Heart. I enjoyed it, buddy.
I enjoyed it too, man. It's a good show.
Guys, check us out over on YouTube, TikTok, all of those awesome places. This has been Zach.
And Honey Dust Dazzleheart.
Y'all have a blessed week.